The Morning Drive is sponsored by Power Metallic. To find out more about the company, please visit their website at powermetallic.com. Follow the Money Investor Group is a 100% Indigenous-owned company and certified with the Canadian Council for Aboriginal Business.
Ingrid Hibbard.
Nice to see you, Carl.
Absolutely. It's been years, actually, since we did a morning drive down at PDAC
Right.
in Toronto. And now we're out here off to the right is the beautiful Niagara Escarpment.
Yep.
And down to, what's that, the southeast?
Yes.
Southeast, we have Lake Ontario.
Yep. Yep.
And so we've got lots to talk about.
Yes, we do. Lots has been happening.
Well, if you can start with a quick intro of who you are.
Yep.
The company name and ticker, Pelangio obviously Exploration, and just go from there and bring us up to speed.
Okay. I'm Ingrid Hibbard, and I'm the CEO of Pelangio Exploration, a company that's been around for many, many years, gone through several corporate restructurings. We're now focused in Ghana, West Africa, and lots of news to tell you about. So just because there is lots, I'm going to take a second, I think, to put it into perspective.
Sure.
So Ghana is now Africa's largest gold producer. So there's a lot of gold coming out of Ghana right now. It's actually made quite a difference to their GDP, and their currency has increased dramatically given the rising interest in gold. So they're benefiting like we are from the changing sentiment in gold. So there's two major belts in Ghana, the Ashanti Belt and the Sefwi Belt. And we have district-sized land packages on each belt. Ashanti Belt, we've got the Obuasi project and a more recent acquisition that ties right on, the Dan Cran project. And at Obuasi, we are tied on to AngloGold Ashanti's massive, historic, giant Obuasi mine. It's over a 70 million ounce mine over its life. Another 20 years of mine life probably, and it's a high-grade mine. So that's a pretty exciting land package to have. Over on the Sefwi Belt, which is really our flagship because that's where we have our Manfo project, which has a resource on it, and a very recent and very exciting acquisition that ties onto that. So just keep that in mind. 4 properties, but really 2 and 2 because they both have 2 projects that tie onto each other. So that's the big picture of where Pelangio is property-wise right now.
That's a big shift for you guys.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, what brought that on, to go into that country and continent?
Well, we've been there a while now, and so when we talked before, we talked a little bit about our detour history. And, Detour was an underexplored, under-recognized project. It had, a million-ounce producer on it, but it had never really been successful. And so we had project next door to the mine. We were able to buy the mine, and the rest is history. The Detour is now in the hands of Agnico Eagle and is now Canada's largest gold producer.
Yeah.
So same strategy. It was an sort of unrecognized district-size play. And Obuasi is the project that brought us to Ghana because it was, where can you get 315 square kilometers tied on to a 70 million ounce mine that's relatively underexplored? I mean, it was an exploration opportunity bar none. But because it's higher grade, and you're starting from scratch, it takes time. If you imagine that you came to Timmins in 1900 and you said, I've got the entire camp and I'm going to start exploring it. It takes some time.
Yeah.
So while we were doing that, we saw the opportunity at Manfo for 100 square kilometers. On the Sefwi Belt, we're 14 kilometers away from Newmont's Ahafo mine. And Newmont is doing great things on the Sefwi Belt because they've got their original Ahafo mine, and they've recently made a go decision on their Ahafo North mine. So the Sefwi Belt is extremely prolific. So we have that and a bolt-on acquisition that I'm going to spend some time on later. And we're going to talk about it a lot more. I think it's a game changer for Manfo, and Manfo is where we made 7 discoveries and now have a resource. So, you know, that's kind of the history over the last decade. Let's focus on what's happened in the last year.
Yeah.
I think it's even more important to have partners when you're in a country like Ghana that's not your home country.
Right.
So in Ghana, with our regional partners, we have 4 local partners. You know, the Dankran property that ties onto Obuasi, we have our partner there. BNT Resources, and with the Nkoso addition to Manfo, we have FJ and Nathawo as partners. So it really increases your reach within the country. MFD Investment Holdings is a group of young mining professionals that started an investment/technical company, which is a bit of an unusual combination and works really well for us. So they are providing us $1 million worth of funding to earn a 10% interest in the Manfo property. In addition, they've participated in the last couple financings, and they've brought us, it expands, again, it's an expansion of your reach. They brought us additional investors and their technical expertise. So it's a huge win.
Are they using new technology, or?
Oh, it's funny you should say that. Yes, I can't say a whole lot more, but yeah, they're working with a group on some artificial intelligence, and we're going to be one of their test cases.
Okay. Do they have any lay of the land there? Like, have they seen things there?
No, so that we're their Ghana investment kind of thing.
Okay.
So, but certainly all around the world. So these guys, they've got, you know, more of a focus on advanced projects and development, which is where we were weaker. So they saw Manfo as having the potential for near-term production. So the first, the agreement we did with them is that they will earn $1 million, or by spending $1 million, they will earn a 10% interest in Manfo. For doing that, they're going to complete an updated MRE, so that should be out this summer. An updated MRE. It got delayed a little when we brought in the Nkoso project. It's not going to just be an MRE, not just a mineral resource estimate update. We're also going to be looking at the potential of the entire package, because remember, the resource is on 3 discoveries on a 100 square land package that is ours, and then with the Nkoso addition, there's tremendously more potential. So yes, so they have, and looking to a PEA by the end of 2026, although depending what happens with Nkoso, I see the possibility for that being delayed a little bit too, as we start to, you know, do a little bit more work there.
Okay. So you've got some money in the treasury.
We've got money in the treasury. We did a raise. We raised $1 million, but more importantly, we have quite a bit of other people's money with our partners.
And
so
strategic partners. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have $1 million coming from MFD. With the Nkoso addition, one of the partners there, Nathawo Investments, is putting in $1 million. And over at Obuasi, we have a partner with Tunya, and they're doing sweat equity more. Again, they've got a strong technical group, so they're the ones doing the work at Obuasi. They're doing $250,000 worth of work at Obuasi. So, you know, we're in the delightful position right now where a lot of other people are spending money on our projects.
And so obviously to do that, you give away a portion of it,
Yep.
or you don't own all of it.
Right.
But that also helps you not dilute your your company,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So you're just kind of managing risk.
100%, right? And now if you take our entire land, so remember, 2 and 2, the entire land packages in Ghana are over 425 square kilometers.
Yeah.
So you can afford to have some partners. So what we did at Obuasi is the southern portion is not where we interpret the main structure that hosts the Obuasi mine to lie. And so we did a deal with Tunia, which has a resource to the south of us, and they interpret that the resource is going to continue onto the southern portion of our property. So it makes sense that they be earning into that and work on that. Really excited about Nkosuo. So Nkosuo is not huge. It bolts on to our Manfo property where we have the resource, but it has some previous drilling done by Ashanti with really nice high-grade results, some drilling and trenching, and it lines up with one of our resource areas, so we can see the structure continuing. And so for a kilometer into that property, we have evidence of mineralization and some high-grade results. So yeah, I think it's more than 1 + 1 = 2. When we put these two projects together, we see it becoming a really robust and slightly higher grade project.
When it comes to, you said you want to talk a little bit about that other property later on.
Yeah.
Want to get into that?
Nkosuo? Sure. So Nkosuo is a joint venture with a local company. So we are getting some of their, in that case, we are getting some of their local technical expertise, and a lot of their local, regional knowledge, which is important. And it has never, except for those couple holes by Ashanti, maybe 15 years ago, it's never been worked. It's brand new virgin territory. It comes with a 30-year mining lease, so he's already managed to get a mining lease, an EPA permit, and a water permit. There is a little bit of a hold right now because despite the fact that there is no forest there, it designated as a forest. And so right now, Ghana's just re-looking at all of their forests. And so we anticipate a little bit of a delay to get an entry permit. But when you consider that there's no forest, it's been completely logged, then it was cocoa farmed, and now it has significant artisanal workings on it. So, I think there'll be a bit of a delay, but we're expecting a forest entry permit imminently.
Yeah. When it comes to the new shareholders, can you tell us a little bit about them?
Sure. So MFD are a younger group of professionals, and they've mostly worked with majors in the past, like El Dorado, Freeport, and their experience is more on the development and processing side. So the fact that they were that interested in our Manfo project was pretty exciting to us.
And they just approached you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yes, and we have a fair investor base out of Switzerland, and I think it was through that because people we knew in common sort of thing, and they were forming this new investment company, and I think it's a very smart idea. We were maybe their first or second deal, and it's a combination of getting equity in the company, but also finding a project and taking some direct equity into the project.
Yeah, so they're vested.
They're really vested, right? They're really partners with us, but it's also the timing. All of the juniors were trying hard to limit their dilution, right? So this was a way where you could take in a bit more money. It's a 10% interest they're earning. It's working really well. So I really do view them as a partner. So their 10% is going to work along with our 90%, and it's not a majority interest that you're giving up. It's an ideal situation. So you get, and they participated in financings along the way, but keeping themselves below 10%. Direct interest.
I'm going to let the vehicle driver.
Oh,
Are you scared?
Maybe.
You think it'll hit that person over there?
Let's see.
Hope not.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, you've got quite a bit going on. What would you say is the most exciting thing that's happened for you over the last couple of years? I mean, and you can get into the macro too of gold. I mean,
Yep.
like
100%.
the US dollar is probably going to be coming down, and that's great for gold. That's great for equities.
Well, so one of the things, we do need to talk about a little bit is the whole investment in exploration. So it's a bit of a hobby horse for me, as you know. The world seems to have forgotten that not only do you need minerals, you need to find more. And there's been a period where there was no funding for exploration companies. We've come through a period of a real dry spell for funding for exploration. And if you don't fund exploration, basically the world grinds to a halt eventually. And there's, people just didn't seem to reach that. And unfortunately, speaking with you, and I'm preaching to the choir a little bit, but let's hope that these videos get out to a broader market, because the truth is, by investing in exploration, not only are you having the opportunity to improve your own net worth, you're actually doing good for society as large in terms of job creation. We saw it at Detour, where it created 1,000 new jobs. We see it in Ghana. Even when you're exploring, you create jobs, you create business opportunities. So it really is a win-win-win. It's all of the stakeholders have a chance to benefit. And I think the world is finally starting to see it in the last sort of 6 months.
Yeah.
So isn't that great?
Now, what would be the catalyst for that? Would you say that's the Trump administration, or?
I think it's a combination, right? It was the Trump administration, the recognition of the need for minerals, particularly critical minerals, but gold too has come into its own. As you have uncertainty, people want something that holds its value. So I think it is. And then in Canada, there was a recognition we need to make use of and support our resource base here. Yeah. And for a while that was not the case. So I think it's all great. So you've got a rising gold price. We have investors who are waking up. Pelangio has, great projects. In the last 9 months, we've turned the corner. Our share price has increased 6-fold in the last 9 months, and we're just getting started. Because if you look around at our West African peers, we're still undervalued by an order of magnitude. And I think the entire exploration sector is still undervalued because we're coming from such a low base.
Yeah.
So, I think it's an awesome opportunity for investors to be doing something that is good for them, good for society, and good for communities where it's happening.
So when you're in this landscape where you can't raise money really for exploration, or the deals are egregious and you don't want to dilute or whatever, right? I'm just drawing assumptions based on things I hear, not directed to your company.
All true.
Where have you been? Like, it's like, okay, what was that phone call or that email that was like, all right, I think we're going to turn the corner here?
Well, for us, really, it was the MFD call, where they and meeting. We met sort of at the National Club in the summertime in Toronto. They had already put one investment into the company, but we actually got to meet. We sketched out, what we wanted the collaboration to look like. So mining, probably all businesses, but mining's what I know. It's about people first, and then it's about projects, right? Yeah. Then it's about, politics. So it was, not only was the money helpful, of course the money's helpful, but it's the fact that people are recognizing again the opportunity. Somebody comes to you and says, I really see this as a massive opportunity, and it's such a lift for you.
Because you know, but you're getting validation.
Yep,
right?
And you're tired of, you've been trying to tell people for, 5 years, and finally somebody comes to you and goes, I think you have a great thing here.
Right.
So that was huge. The money, the breath of the fresh air for the whole company to kind of go, yeah. And we had support through that whole downturn out of Switzerland, thank goodness. So that really kept us alive. And to their credit, they're the guys who sort of introduced MFD to us. And then when they come with a sort of some technical expertise and the ability to say, well, let's look at the potential for near-term production. Maybe we could start something smaller and start funding exploration that way. And we've got the expertise to do it. So it was transformational. And then funny how these things come in waves. So almost immediately after we had done that, we started to turn the corner on our negotiations to acquire the Incoso project. So, and I think probably, the first deal was a bit of an impetus for the second deal,
sure.
Right? Once you get showing more momentum, things start to happen. So we are really excited. So, but, not just about Manville, that's clearly our first priority, but then over at Obuasi, we've got collaboration there. And so all of our projects have some work going on right now. And it's been a long time since I can say that.
When it comes to allocating the capital to work being done on these projects, can you kind of map that out for our audience?
Well,
that's probably a question people would want to know.
It's different. It's different for me now because it's other people's money. So it's being spent based on the amount that came in. So
would you say you're a project generator?
Yeah, that's a weird term, and I guess so, but not necessarily. Especially now with MFD, which does have the capacity and the technical expertise to, get you up and running, build a mine, get it going. So that's a different possibility. When we did Detour, we knew we didn't have the expertise in-house, but then again, we didn't do a typical project generator thing. We didn't just sell it to a major or wait for a major to come and talk to us. We worked with the group to form Detour Gold and take it from there. The problem I find with project generators is it's hard to be in control of your own fate if you have to wait or try and encourage somebody to buy you.
Yeah.
So we feel like we're a bit more proactive.
Okay, I'm glad I asked that question then. There is a Bill Gates and Bezos funded AI tech company that's, making a lot of deals in mining. Are you familiar with it?
Cobalt.
Yes. So I'm just going to poke holes here because you can't say too much about these partners here, but it sounds like maybe they could be doing something similar.
I think so. Yes. Yeah. Now, when we started, they didn't come to me and say, "Oh, we've got AI," kind of thing. It seems that it has evolved as they raise more money, because one of the things I found out of this industry is, everybody's raising money from somebody. The institutions are raising money as much as we are. So at the end of the day, it's the real investor that is where the money's coming from in all of these cases.
Well, sorry to cut you off, but I just as an investor that's been in the mining space now for 6-7 years, right? So not as long as you, but long enough to become a little jaded. Yeah. I feel like in the future,
you should try 30 years.
Right? So you'll understand where I'm going with this. The AI technology is new, but it could take a lot of risk out as an investor.
Well, so it's new, but it's not as new as you think. We had an AI program done at Owasso 5 years ago.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what was that like to look at?
So, well, and it was done out of Germany, so I think these guys were really first mover kind of guys, you know, and it was early. So it didn't find us a brand new discovery, but what it did do, so it gave me some confidence, and I'm sure things have improved. It validated every idea that we had. Just
Proof of competence,
So-
bias confirmation, or
so we had ideas where we would want to drill, and it had the same ideas basically. Unfortunately, at Owasso, remember how big it is, that was like 190 targets.
right?
So it didn't do as good a job as we had hoped in helping us prioritize them. But I'm anxious now to see with this next iteration 5 years later. Well, I'm just learning to use ChatGPT kind of thing and Copilot, but that's pretty amazing. So if the same kind of amazing leap in technology has happened on the exploration side,
Imagine that.
I'm pretty excited. If it was that accurate 5 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I know, and it's going to get to a point where, exploration companies, investors are going to say, well, do you have any AI technology? And it's like, if you don't have it, it's going to get to that point, right, where it's going to be a standard.
Yep.
Yeah, which is good, actually. It's good because...
Well, really, we needed that in exploration, right? That was the thing that was holding us back, is there hadn't been any really massive new technological advances in 15, 20 years.
That's
kind of
right,
thing.
and we need it, because there's so much capital that's being wasted, right?
Well, even if you can eliminate 10% of the holes that you would have to drill, that's a massive savings, and
Sure.
that's money that can go to higher priority holes.
Yeah, and I would imagine honestly that it would help out more than 10%.
Me too.
But this is fascinating. Yeah, I need to do some interviews with these these AI tech guys, right? Like, I don't know. I guess everybody's protecting what they have.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they're not going to talk yet, but someone's going to have to patent it, or I don't know.
And it's like every other technology, we're all taking a chance at this point because we're all beta testers, and which one's going to be the one that really wins.
Yeah.
Or they buy each other up.
Yeah.
So that the tech world's kind of interesting, but it's about time. And kudos to Cobalt for doing that, because it did switch people's minds now to, mining isn't just some old thing with a guy with a donkey.
Well,
it's actually high tech.
Yeah, if you can get some Silicon Valley money into this space,
Yep.
that's great. And Canada has a lot of the intellectual property, right?
Yep.
A lot of the human beings that know how to do it properly. Like, I know, in through some interviews and even off-camera conversations, like, look at Dubai and the Arab countries. They're stealing our humans.
Yep.
Right? They're doing a good job of that, right? We need to keep them here. And, and I'm not saying don't go to Africa, but like,
no, but Canada.
Canadian companies, right? Like, you're a Canadian company.
Yep.
You need that human capital.
Right. And now there too is another great use of AI, because we are starved for human capital. We have not been graduating enough students, and so maybe AI can, even if it isn't going to be totally cutting edge, if it can allow us to fill in some of the holes for people logging core and stuff, that's going to be massive.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I've been up 6,000 feet on the side of a mountain, and I've been in core shacks on mountains in, northern BC. Like, it's a pretty cool job, especially when you're younger. Like, I don't have to tell you, right?
Yep.
But like, before you get married and all that stuff.
Yep.
Like, traveling the world and seeing some pretty cool places. And
Yep. You get paid to be a treasure hunter. Come on.
Yeah.
Travel the world. What's wrong with that?
Imagine having this AI come in now where you kind of know a little bit more, like, all right, there's going to be something really cool, that those massive sulfides are X, Y, and Z, right? Like, that would be more exciting,
So we shall see. You know, we're going to be starting in the next several months with a little bit of work on it, and we'll see how it pans out. I have to say, though, nothing beats drilling holes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've got 2 minutes before we get you back to the to your home.
Yep.
So how do you want to spend the last 2 minutes?
So let's summarize what's coming up next.
Sure.
And why people should be watching right now. And, you know, with the work that's going to be going on at Kosovo and at Manfo. So we're doing an airborne right now at flying over both Manfo and Kosovo. So that's going to be starting any day now. So we're going to be looking at how the structures run across both properties, looking to see if we can identify some new targets or firm up some of the existing targets we have, because it's a drone survey, so it gives you a higher resolution than the older airborne surveys do. So we're excited about that. The MRE, the updated MRE, is going to be out in probably July, which isn't my favorite, but can't always time these things. Maybe end of June. So there'll be an updated MRE. There's the drone survey, and then come, you know, the end of the year, we'll be looking at doing some drilling on some of these targets generated. So there's a lot of exciting news. So there's a pipeline of news. There's new technologies. There's partnerships. So we have a lot going on, and you know, we've got the momentum with a 6-fold increase already. We're just getting started. So I think, you know, even if the gold price doesn't go higher, the fact that it is where it is game changing for many, many projects. And, you know, the fact that investor sentiment is changing. So we're pretty excited about where the future goes. I think people should be watching us, and sometimes they should even consider picking up some. So we're PX on the TSXV. You can follow us on LinkedIn, both me and Pelangio. And if you need any more information, you should email info@pelangio.com. We're always happy to talk about our projects.
Of course, that must be one of your favorite things, to talk to investors.
100%.
Well, we're rolling back in your crib here.
Worked out pretty well.
Beautiful spot again. That was a nice drive. The audience got to see some of it through the cool windows here in the Cybertruck. But yeah, it's been nice. Hopefully, I don't go too long without speaking to you again. Maybe, you know, once you get some of those drill results out, or maybe when you got some exciting targets you want to talk about.
Yep.
You know, you got a long driveway here, so when it comes to marketing, are there, you know, like, where do you think do you go to Switzerland to service those shareholders?
Oh, 100, yeah. So we do Switzerland usually twice a year. We'll visit New York. We go into London periodically. I haven't been to Vancouver in a long time.
That's when we first started talking again.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have to do that. I have to get back to Vancouver.
Okay.
And but you know, things like this, because not everybody goes out to conferences, and there's a huge world out there, and gold is new to many, many younger people, but I see younger people coming into the market. So you know, online visibility is going to be key to that.
Yes, I mean, we've been around now for a long time. We do have younger, you know, millennials and that, and even younger than that, but we also have, you know, lots of high net worth people that follow along.
Yep.
And this segment's cool because when we started doing the morning drive 6 years ago, you know, going to a big company and saying, hey, come do an interview in a car was kind of like, what?
Yeah.
But now the market's really come to us because people love to consume this type of content.
Yep.
Versus, you know, you being all corporate and everything. Like, I mean, some people love to be corporate. That's who they are. That's their identity. But most people, they're like that when they have to go to a conference and they get to their hotel room and they're like, oh, thank God.
Yep.
And this segment really allows individuals like you to just relax and be yourself.
Yep.
You know, it's not a super corporate concept. All right, Ingrid, it was nice catching up with you again.
Nice to see you again.
You have
great Cybertruck.
Thank you. And you have obviously a lot of stuff going on. Lots of the new partners. You got new capital, and we got a new, you know, all-time high in the gold price here that happened over the last 4 weeks. So we'll be following up. and hopefully we'll catch up with you maybe towards the end of the summer or in the fall.
Indeed.